Hey folks, so yeah, I am doing a bit of renovation here in the building, and so I was taking stuff out to the town dump, and they've had it for a long time, but they're and a lot of town dumps have these. They have a little area where it just says, recycle, reuse, and free stuff in there. So basically, you can drive in, and if there's anything in there that you like, you can just take it out for free. And so I happened to be driving by and noticed a stack of records sitting there on a cabinet that was inside this little, basically, it's like a hut. And so I went and dumped the stuff I had to get rid of, the garbage, and then went running back and asked the guy, I'm like, is it true I can take anything out of here? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, great. And I went in, and there were 3 recycling bins filled with records. Now, I really didn't have my hopes up. I'm figuring it's just going to be some stuff that people want to get, toss out. But after a little flip, there was some good records. This Jack Nate's record is pretty hard to find. I've had one other copy before once, and this one is in immaculate shape. I mean, it probably wasn't played just by the looks of it. The cover is in really great shape. This used to be like a holy grail record for guys, especially the guys who did like instrumental stuff. This was one of the ones. It's kind of gone down in value over the years, but still is such a scarce record that, my teeth nearly fell out when I saw this sitting there. But it keeps going. The Shantays Pipeline. Other than a punch out hole, this thing is pretty much near mint. Again, sort of surf instrumental stuff. Again, used to be one of those like holy grail records. Brian Auger and the Trinity. Kind of a hard, kind of weird, proggy, not quite psych, but there's a little bit in there. Bluesy record. Great cover. I love the cover art on this one. Again, another cool one. Anything with a picture of Steve McQueen on it. Oh, sadly, somebody wrote on it, but still, like John Williams doing the music to the Rivers, but it's Steve McQueen on the cover. Somebody who collects Steve McQueen. Now, this is what I kind of baffled me. Some of them were in plastic before I got there. And I left behind 2 tubs because it was mostly like not good classical and, a few other like big band and stuff like that. But there were some that were in sleeves. Now, I grabbed a lot of that stuff, and this Steve McQueen was one of them. And then this one, a Roland Kirk on Atlantic. I mean, keep in mind, these are all free. And if I don't take them, eventually they're going into the dump. And it is in fantastic condition. I mean, for considering it was on its way to the dump, yeah, good shape. The record looks fabulous. Fred Neil. These 2 records, again, they've gone down in value, but when I was starting out collecting records, Fred Neil was like super hard to find. If you don't know, he did the Everybody's Talking, was his high point, but he is kind of a folk legend, really fantastic voice, incredible guitar player, fantastic songwriter. I'd recommend if you can come across any of, especially as early as first record on Elektra is just great. Here's a Little Bit of Rain, which again, another class. These took me years to find that I could afford them anyways. So yeah, again, gone down in value, a little easier to find now because they're coming out of guys' collections who are downsizing, but still free at the dump. Here's another one. I've seen the record before, but I've never had a chance to buy one. Santo and Johnny were an instrumental group in the 50s and 60s. I think they even recorded right into the 70s, but it's sort of twangy guitar and beautiful, beautiful pedal steel guitar. Jimmy Page was a huge fan of these guys, and apparently so was George Harrison, because these guys got the right to cover Beatles songs, and this wasn't like a Beatles exploitation record. This thing was fully endorsed by them because they put the pictures on the back. And I do remember reading an interview with George Harrison, who just thought that they were just the best. Their version of Summertime is one of the greatest renditions you will ever hear. That is such a great record. And this thing, again, a little bit of like staining over there on that side. Actually, I think that's actually where some of the just paperware more than anything else. But this is like a $40 record still. And again, super condition inside and out. Julie Driscoll and Brian Auger and the Trinity again. Kind of, this one's a little more bluesy than it is proggy, but there is some prog stuff in there, kind of psyche. Bill Evans on Riverside. It's a tough one to find. And this is all from the dump. Now, the rest of the stuff I'll whiz through really quick because this is the stuff that I'm like, well, it's free. I can't leave it behind. Jay and the Americans, not in the best condition. This is like exploitation record. Saturday Night Fever, it's in good shape. I can always sell Saturday Night Fever. The Faster and the Speed of Night, it's a library record. Aquarius, Urban Cowboy. This is a great one too. Sophia Loren and Peter Sellers, it's a UK Parlophone mono copy. Kind of interesting songs and stuff from the pair of them. If you're like a fan of either, it's kind of worth thinking. Louisiana, I want to say Brown, could be, yeah. I don't. What is that? Louisiana LaRue. Huh. I don't know who this is, so but I just grabbed it anyways. Mason Williams, Morton Gould's Jungle. This is again more Exotica, the Jungle Drums record. Loretta Holloway, it's like disco. 3 Degrees is sort of disco-y soul. There's some more 3 Degrees. Donna Summer, obviously disco. This guy's a Canadian guy, kind of like a folky guy, Larry Wise. Rod McEwen. This I just took a chance on because I like the cover. I don't know, groovy chick. Quadraphonic. I always pick up Quadraphonic. This is E. Power Briggs on the organ. Again, this was another one of those that was in plastic. Ramsey Lewis, The In Crowd. Sadly, somebody wrote on it, but that's a groovy record. Second Bonnie Tyler record, a UK pressing of Lou Rawls, Bert Kampf, The African Beat. Some of this stuff is kind of interesting, a lot more. It's got Cherokee on there, so, you know, Neil Diamond Grace. It's a bit rough, but still there. Duke Ellington in Canada, another Lou Rawls, the Joe Seeley and Friends, Paco. This looks like a UK import of Casey and the Sunshine Band, another Paco. Son of Nilsson, the Judds, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the Bee Gees first, but it's in rough shape. Best of Peter, Paul, and Mary, again, in rough shape. Rock and Roll Show with Chuck Berry, the Coasters, Jerry Lee Lewis, Screamin' Jay Hawkins, Bill Doggett, Frankie Ford, the Dominoes, the Moonglide. This is just great. Not in the best of shape, sadly, but still. Springsteen, Los Lobos, Love Is All, let's read the Ritchie Family, again, kind of like solely disco. Brian Hyland, Carl Orff, Karina Burana. This is like everybody comes in when they are looking for classical. They usually ask for this or XT right now. Les Paul and Mary Ford. I mean, the guy made the Les Paul, and Mary Ford is a crazy good guitar player. She's playing that beautiful SG. It's just worth it for the cover. Dwayne Eddy. This was just like a visual sound record. I get people who actually collect these again, so I just picked it up. Soundtrack to El Cid. Mahalia Jackson. It's gospel. It's gorgeous. Love to Love You, Baby. This is like, I mean, I think this is Giorgio Moroder mostly doing the production on this. Yeah, there he is there. It's disco, but it's so much more. A whole side of Love to Love You, Baby, and it is just the synth on it alone is worth it. The arpeggiator, oh god, it's good. Donna Summer, this is more straight up disco. Teen Scene with Chet Atkins, in perfect shape. Man, I wish I had that guitar. Mahalia Jackson again, more gospel. Alba's Arrival, the soundtrack to Ian Fleming's From Russia With Love, and Carly Simon, Boys in the Trees. So that was what I grabbed. And as I was looking, I also noticed that in one of the tubs, there was a little baggie that had some 45s in it. Most of it was garbage. But this, a 1991 U2 copy, European copy of The Fly. Like, what is that doing in there? 1991 Bohemian Rhapsody and These Are the Days of Our Lives. I think this was like an AIDS benefit after Freddie died. And again, it's in there. It's in great shape. I'll show you this one. We'll go up to that one. Show Must Go On, Queen, picture cover again. I think this was a reissue or an issue. Yeah, 1991. And then this one is just I'd like to teach the world to sing, which is like, it's like a Coke advertising rare, 45. But this was the one. So it kind of crosses over in everything I deal with here, which is like I do vintage toys. And I looked at this and I'm like, that's kind of reminds me of like G.I. Joe, like the space capsule that came out. And I was flipping through things fast, so I didn't take it. It just says an introduction to manned Mercury space flight, and then the side 2 is actual Mercury space flight communications. So this was pre-moon landing, probably like 67, 68 is what I was thinking. And it's on yellow. I'm thinking, you know what? It's probably one of those kids records with the read along that you get. But I looked, there was no book, and I'm like, I actually did think about leaving it behind because I have so many kids records, but I'm like, nah, we'll grab it. It's free, man. Just pick it up. And then when I got home, I looked closer at it, and I'm like, Hassenfield Brothers. That's Hasbro, like the toy maker Hasbro. And I sort of remembered that something did come with the they had a Sears exclusive space capsule and G.I. Joe spaceman outfit, and the Joe came with it, the 12-inch ones back in the day. And it was sold exclusively through Sears, and it was, you know, it was kind of like a Grail toy in the box, you know, if you could find it. I went to Discogs, I checked this out, and here's one of the things about people just kind of look at Discogs and think that's the be-all and end-all. And for the most part, Discogs is really great. I'm, you know, casting no shade on Discogs. It is a great equalizer for everybody. And, you know, once you learn to use it properly, it's a great tool for everyone. But sometimes with things like this, it kind of misses the mark, because this isn't that interesting to record collectors, admittedly. So on Discogs, which is primarily record collectors, it's only like a $5 to $10 record. And I'm like, that just doesn't seem right, because I will bet that this went with the toy. And sure enough, I went on to eBay and looked, and yes, there were 3 different kinds. There was this yellow vinyl variation, an orange vinyl variation, and a black vinyl variation, which were all inserted with the space capsule when toy in the box when you got it. And the idea was you got to play with your space capsule and listen to all the actual space talk. So I don't know which one is harder to find over the other, but I will tell you this. The orange one has a couple of sales between 50 and 65 US dollars, like actual sell-throughs. The black one of them sold in the last, I think it was 60 days, for 45 US. And the yellow, there was one there for 72 US dollars. So again, you could almost go on Discogs and buy the ones on Discogs and make money hawking them on eBay to toy guys who don't have it. So again, all this for free at the dump. Now, mind you, I had to pay $20 to dump my stuff, but you can go into this dump free. You don't have to pay anything to get in if you don't have anything to dump. So I think it might become one of my regular stops from now on, because who knows? I talked to one guy there. He's like, they get records in from time to time. He's like, usually they sit, and sometimes he has to throw them out and it breaks his heart. But yeah, this stuff would have went to the dump. I mean, you know what? This is the first time for me picking this stuff up. I've gotten records at the side of the road. I've gotten records out of dumpsters before when people were doing house clearances and I got there too late. But this is the first time for me picking them up at the actual dump. So, you know what? I'm always interested in hearing from people in the comment section. Tell me where the craziest place you've gotten records before is, you know, for free or not, at very cheap, because I'd be interested in hearing about it. If you like this kind of stuff, if you could tell your friends about the channel, that'd be cool. You can subscribe if you want. You don't have to. This stuff is, I just do it for fun. I'm not monetized in any way, shape, or form, and I probably am not going to be anytime soon. My hours are way, way below. My subscriptions are over, but my hours are below. So, yeah, if you could tell your friends about it, that'd be great. Maybe like a video. And like I said, I'd like to hear from people about where the craziest places they've gotten records from. Yeah. So anyways, I hope you're able to find some good stuff on the weekends or during the week when you're out crate digging. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.